Hey YouTube, just going to make a quick video to finish up the story about being a security guard. Let's see where I had left off. Where had I left off? Oh yeah, the cat in the dumpster. I survived that one. Took a few years off my life though. Anyway, the next night I was there at the Lucky Dollar, and I stood watch, and I was feeling a little bit better about only making $4.25 an hour and being unarmed. Things seemed pretty smooth that night, and come 11 o'clock I had to leave. That's all they had the guard hired for, to 11, and I waited till the store was cleared of customers, and I told them, well, I've got to go. They said, all right, and I took off and walked over to the security guard office, which was only about a block and a half away, and I clocked out. Well, that only took a few minutes, and I got back in my car, and I headed for home. Headed for home. And I just happened to stop by the store again, and I went in and got some fried chicken. They sold it right there by the counter. Needed something for supper, so that was easy. I got it. I probably left there again about a quarter after 11. Went on home. Well, the next night I was supposed to stand guard at the Lucky Dollar, and I came in to the office, and they said, do you know what happened at the Lucky Dollar last night? Nothing happened. I was there. Everything went fine. I said, no, they got robbed about 20 minutes after 11. Here, the guy was waiting for you to leave. Oh, really? And you want me to go back there? Oh, yeah, it'll be fine. Can I go armed? No. Oh. Well, they caught up with that guy about a week later. Maybe it wasn't even that long, but he was just a kid, and I think he was trying to pull off some robberies with a toy gun or an empty gun or something. I don't remember now. It's been so long ago. But I got to meet with a couple of the local police, because they'd always stick their heads in and say, hi, how you doing, once in a while during the night. Have you seen anything unusual, and this or that or the other, and just chat with you for a minute or two. And anyway, they came in and told me that they weren't as worried about that kid that had held up the place. They pretty well knew who he was, and I think they were going to get him pretty soon. But what they were really worried about was there was this other guy that had gotten out of prison not long before, and he had committed a rash of robberies around the Northwest, around my section of the Northwest. He'd been some up in Idaho and some in Washington State, and they figured, I think because he had relatives there, that he was coming down to the Tri-Cities where I was. So they were on the lookout for him, and they gave a real detailed description of him. He had a facial feature that you'd recognize anywhere. It's something that just stood out. And they gave me the full description and let me know what he'd be wearing. He'd wear a tan sheepskin lined coat. They told me, you'll recognize this guy if you see him, because of this facial feature. He had real deep set eyes, real dark deep set eyes. And said, you'll notice that first thing, you'll know it's him. And said, if you do meet up with him, do anything that he says, because he won't hesitate to shoot. He's already shot 2 cops. They wanted him pretty bad. I said, okay. Well, time went on, and I would do the Lucky Dollar job, and I would do other jobs we had around, other guard jobs. And they'd rotate the guards, trying to give them all 40 hours a week, and because everybody was hurting for money, we wanted more hours. Overtime if we could get it, but very seldom got that. Anyway, it was a week or so later that I happened to be standing there while they were counting the money. About 11 o'clock, they would count out the till, and then they'd just save enough in the cash register to run for the last hour. Well, the manager and the night clerk were counting out the till, so I'm standing right up there, right by the counter as they did it, and I looked over to the side, and there's this bank of plate glass windows. We were just a few feet away from them, and that was the front of the store. And I see a guy looking in, just intently looking in, and his face pressed up against the glass. And I looked over, and that was him. Oh, man. And I knew it was him from the description. And the only thing that saved me that night is I had a long blue coat on. And he couldn't tell whether or not I was armed. And so I went and reached in my coat for my radio, reaching under my coat for my radio, and just as I did that, he took off like a rabbit. He was fast. And I went out the door. I couldn't see where he went. But I wasn't going to try to chase him down unarmed. And the money's still sitting out on the counter with those two people. So I got back in there, got the cops down there. And there just happened to be a couple of guys that came in for beer. And they were half snockered anyway, but they got a half case of beer and were on their way out, walking out, just as the police pulled up. And the police drew down on them. They thought, well, maybe they're the robbers. So I had to run out there real quick and stop and say, no, that's not him. And just as I did, I went out there, and there was a detective with a 38, little stub-nosed 38 that he had pulled out of an ankle holster. And he was at a crouch. And he had that gun aimed right by the door there. Just as I came out the door, I turned to the side and I saw that 38. Now, he wasn't aiming at me. I had walked into the line of fire, and I learned a quick lesson right there. But anyway, that little 38, it looked about that big around. Boy, I was looking at the wrong end of the barrel. Anyway, I got it straightened out and told them, no, that wasn't the one. And they sent those guys down the road, and they were bewildered and a little mad and a little scared, and they shoved them on down the street. Anyway, that was an adventure, being a security guard. Well, looks like I'm coming up to the end of my minutes again, so anyway, this is the Utopian, and just remember, watch out for dumpsters and cats. I'll see you down the road.